this project, we were asked to choose between 8 topics from the most various themes.
Yeah, and being aware that we often read something about oil contamination or even soap contamination in rivers, we decided to do a project about sanitarian problems.
Oil leaks are some of the worst natural disasters that can happen, having bad consequences in pretty much every possible way. Having that in mind, we try to look for ways to solve this problem. Since looking for ways to stop the problem from happening isn't a viable option, we try to look for ways to reduce and contain the damage of the leaks. Before trying to look for solutions, we needed to remind ourselves that we are only high school students. Acknowledging that, we are able to remind ourselves that we will not be able to build some crazy engineering machine that will be able to take oil off the sea, or maybe some crazy chemicals that will make oil degrade faster or something like that. What we try to do is something way more in our league. We try to look for solutions that already exist for some problems and try to implement those to solve our problem. And the most simple solution that we found for our problem is the bioremediation of the contaminated environment by the oil through a bacteria that will degrade it. To do that, we needed to find a bacteria that would be able to live in the environment with the oil and also be able to degrade it. In our research, we came in touch with 2 bacteria that were suitable for the job. And by suitable, I mean that were able to degrade hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are the main compounds of crude oil. But after a little bit of further research, we learned that one of them only lives on land. And since our problem only focuses on the sea, she was out, and thus we came in contact with the other one, the aborcomensis, and this became the bacteria that we are going to be using in our job. At this point, we thought our project was pretty much done, but we still had a few more doubts, so we made a visit to the Federal University of the State of Santa Catarina to ask for some answers. And I must say that what we heard was pretty rough. We came in there with a few questions to solve the flaws in the ideas that we already had, but we actually left with some very different ideas about the project in general. The application of the idea is quite a little bit easier than we thought it would be. It actually works by taking the specimen and put it into a little sample of the environment that you're going to put it in, and after they adapt, you need to put this sample with them into the environment. After doing that, the specimen will be able to release some compounds that will be used to separate further the hydrocarbons of the crude oil, and thus making it easier to be degraded or recycled.
Some people believe that the only sanitary problem nowadays is the number of people who don't have access to a basic sanitation. Although the industrial traces that are mixed with the water that goes down the sink when we are washing our dishes, for example, can turn on being a pretty bad situation in the future. So, our team decided to produce a biodegradable soap that won't eventually produce more soap traces than the others. And knowing that, when we looked up internet, we choose 3 of many easy recipes that everyone can do at house with simple ingredients. Like a coconut soap, commonly known as white soap, and it's extremely useful and has a ton of fantastic properties. For this, we used 2 liters of water, 1 coconut soap, and you need to make sure that it's just made of coconut, and 1 tablespoon of resin oil, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. After you have all these ingredients, you will need to boil it all until it dissolves. Then you will have a perfect and not polluted soap. So yeah, fantastic. You go, girl.